Coming up on Mountain News this morning, as restaurants prepare to reopen tomorrow, we talked with the owners of one in Corbin that is ready for business. And now that retail stores are allowed to reopen in Kentucky, stores and customers are getting used to the new guidelines.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. Your time is 6 o'clock on the dot on to this Thursday, May the 21st. I'm Will Puckett. Thank you for tuning in to Mountain News This Morning. You know, it's Thursday, but around these parts, we call it Friday Eve. Let's bring Brandon in to give you a breakdown of what to expect on this Thursday. Brandon, good morning.
Good morning, and things are starting to pick back up again, Will. We're already seeing some scattered showers back into parts of Letcher and Perry and over into Knott counties, Pike County as well this morning, and down toward Lake Cumberland. So the break didn't last too long. We're going to continue to watch those chances off and on throughout the daytime hours, so be ready for that. Stonecrest Golf Course in Prestonsburg this morning, overcast skies and dreary conditions as daylight approaches 6:20 around it. That's when sunrise will actually happen today, although we won't see much of the sun, especially in the eastern counties. Now out to the west, you may see a little bit of sunshine peek through there, and it could be in the east at some times today as well, but don't get your hopes up too much for that. Temperatures running basically between 52 and 54 region-wide this morning, and we take a look at our headlines. We're looking at possibly some rain chances all the way into the first part of Memorial Day weekend before some relief comes our way, hopefully by the end of the weekend and the first of next week. Will?
All righty, Brandon, thank you. Well, Governor Andy Beshear announced 166 new cases and 10 new deaths during last night's COVID-19 daily briefing. That brings the Commonwealth's total to 8,167 cases. 376 people have died so far. Almost 3,000 people have recovered. Well, as we begin opening up more across the Commonwealth, testing also continues to expand. Bell County had its first case this past Saturday, but drive-through testing there, which started yesterday, may be a way to help slow the spread. WYMT's Connor James shows us how that site works.
This sign hangs at the Pineville Community Health Center. Draped above US 25, the sign signals the start of drive-through testing in Bell County.
We had our first case positive in Bell County on Saturday, so it's really important that more people get tested so that we can see who's been exposed and they can get properly treated. Mary
Bishop is the CNO here. The setup at the center looks different. Cones and signs direct those getting tested where to go. Wednesday, Bishop worked alongside others as the first day of testing was underway. She knows how it goes, having been tested herself.
The whole procedure will last about 10 seconds or less. It's not what I consider painful. I've had it done a couple times. It is very uncomfortable.
She emphasizes how crucial testing is, a sentiment shared by infection preventionist Bonnie Browning.
Absolutely. If you're asymptomatic or if you have symptoms, it's very important to get tested.
The testing here is by appointment. Results usually are back within about 4 days, sometimes sooner.
It's possible to spread the infection to others without knowing that you have it. So it's definitely very important that everyone get tested, whether you have symptoms or you don't.
The test itself does not cost you anything. Insurance covers it. As workers here continue to push for more in the county to get tested. In Pineville, Connor James, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, if you are interested in being tested, the number to do that is 606-654-4693. Well, soon more attractions will be able to open up in Kentucky. On June 8th, Governor Andy Beshear says museums, outdoor attractions like zoos, along with aquariums, libraries, and distilleries can open at a third of their normal capacity. They also will only allow groups of 10 or less to enter together. The governor has talked about a gradual reopening for daycares. He is expected to lay out specific guidelines for how that will work later this week. Well, retail stores were allowed to open up back at some capacity yesterday at the Fayette Mall. Plenty of people showed up at 10 a.m. thinking things would open as they normally do. However, they could not get into the mall and had to wait until 11 before the doors opened. Even then, only a few stores were open in the mall.
I don't know if the big box stores are going to open. because I don't see any lights on in there yet, so I doubt they're going to open.
That was the first person who made it into the mall yesterday morning. A Fayette Mall spokesperson says to expect stores to open gradually. Meanwhile, the retail shops are allowed to open as of yesterday, and stores and customers are getting used to those new guidelines. At the Middlesboro Mall, they opened their doors at 10 yesterday morning. They are required to keep the mall at 33% capacity. Maintenance is constantly walking around, making sure people are following the social distancing guidelines and making sure everything is clean. Many shoppers stopped by on the reopening day, excited to be able to buy new shoes and get some summer clothes. But for some shoppers, it felt strange to be back in stores.
It's not something that I've done in so long that you wouldn't think something as commonplace as shopping would ever become weird, but it definitely kind of has.
The mall is welcome to mall walkers. Some stores such as JCPenney and Bath & Body Works have not opened yet, and there is no word on when they will open. Meanwhile, Goodwill is joining the list of retailers who are reopening this week. A lot of people have been stuck at home, and rightfully so. They've been cleaning out their closets. My dad wants me to do that at my one at home. I haven't done it yet. Now, Goodwill is accepting their donations, an important change they are making during the pandemic. All donated items will be sanitized before going out onto the sales floor. There is also a list of guidelines workers will follow, including temperature checks before shifts and wearing masks and gloves. Well, Friday, Kentucky restaurants can open up at 33% capacity to in-person dining. That is only one of the restrictions. While some restaurants say it's time, others do not know how they will do it. I talked with the owners of one restaurant that has changed their tune since the last time we talked. This Friday, Shep's Place in Corbin will reopen to customers.
We think that is going to be manageable. We'll take whatever business we can get during this time.
When restrictions for restaurants were released, co-owner Brandon Shepard did not see a way that they could make it work.
As far as having a draft beer in a styrofoam cup, I mean, it's certainly possible and we're going to be able to do it, but I just don't know if that's what people would prefer.
But in just more than 1 week's time, Shepard took a step back and looked at all the ways that they could make it happen.
Reopening now and getting customers back in, since we had them in a few months, it's going to give us the ability to really gradually be able to handle everything.
Shepard is a Corbin City Commissioner, working his connections on Main Street as well as in the commission meetings. He believes more good can come from this.
My biggest hopes too is that this is something that maybe can stay and it can become an attraction in itself in regards to our Main Street.
Like blocking off Main Street from 4th Street to Nibrock Park, allowing people to social distance while also enjoying food and drinks like they did before. In Corbin, Will Bucket, WYMT Mountain News. 28 people is 33% capacity for Shep's. Shepard says he has had conversation with other businesses along Main Street to toss around some of his ideas. Well, even as Kentucky is doing some reopenings, more outdoor events are being canceled for the summer. Williamsburg Mayor Roddy Harrison announced yesterday that the city will not be having their 4th of July fireworks, and leaders have canceled old-fashioned trading days. That festival normally draws thousands to Williamsburg in September. The mayor mentioned financial uncertainty and questions about COVID-19 in announcing those cancellations. As you know, many other festivals are held in the region in September and October, and this is the first one we know of so far that will not be happening. Well, the pandemic is causing a lot of festivals and events, as we just mentioned, but these worldwide, to be canceled or postponed. But one here in the mountains is set to go on with some unique changes. WYMT's Tommy Poole has more from Whitesburg.
Every year, on the first weekend in June, Appalshop hosts the Seed Time on the Cumberland's Music Festival.
It's a collaboration not only across projects within the Appalshop, a collaboration with many of our partners outside the Appalshop.
The festival features music, art, crafts, film, food, and more.
Well, we feature mountain arts and culture, so we try to make the primary focus the art that's being created all around us.
With the global pandemic canceling and postponing many festivals and events, Appalshop has decided to continue with the festival just virtually.
A lineup of some of the archival materials and films that we'll be showing.
That lineup includes artists like Lee Sexton, Gary Stewart, Etta Baker, and headlined by the late Ralph Stanley.
Just in that, it's a dream lineup that we would never be able to feature otherwise, that we wouldn't have thought to feature otherwise.
While this year's festival isn't ideal, Ratliff and the organization think this year's event can add to those in the future.
As challenging as these times are, and we're all making adjustments due to the coronavirus, I think that it's also an opportunity to be innovative in ways that we wouldn't have otherwise.
Creating more excitement and getting more eyes on the area, which is what the event is all about. In Letcher County, Tommy Poole, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, the festival will last only one day this year instead of a full weekend. Brett Ratliff said some components from this year's festival might be repeated in festivals to come.
Well, the rain chances are back around, at least in the eastern counties this morning. They're scattered, but still there. So kind of hang in there this morning and just continue to watch those wet roads and maybe some foggy conditions as you head out the door this morning. We're taking a look at those temperatures. A little on the cooler side, in the 50s pretty much area-wide this morning. So I don't think you'll need a jacket, but you'll notice a little bit of a chill in the air. 68 later today. Unfortunately, those chances for rain will continue off and on as we head throughout the day. Will?
All righty, Brandon, thank you, and thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. Coming up, yesterday was World's Bee Day, and we took the time to talk with a young beekeeper in Martin County about his craft.